And there we go. Now we are. Good morning. All right, well, good morning to everyone who's joining. We're going to give a minute for the participants to come in. Apologies that we're just a few minutes behind here today, but we are really excited about this morning panel. So we'll give it just a second here. All the participants are dropping in, and then we'll get going.
And Tammy, we are seeing a screen on top of your PowerPoint that needs to be closed.
Okay. All right.
Because you shared just the PowerPoint, anything you pull up on top of it will cover it.
Okay. I'm just gonna give me 1 second here. Sorry.
It's okay. It looks like you had it when you went back there. So.
Okay. Technical difficulties. Give me 1 sec here. Okay, can you see that now?
Looks great. And
how about now?
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, Tammy, let's dive in there.
Okay. All right. So welcome everyone to hour 2 of the AI Expo during the NCESD annual STEM conference or STEM Summit. If you are an educator participating in the STEM Summit, don't miss out on all of the other great sessions happening throughout the day. Be sure to see our full schedule on the Sched platform. We want to thank all of the following sponsors and partners for supporting students and educators in our region today and throughout the whole STEM Summit. So thank you for that. So in case you missed our keynote presentation, we are going to do a short introduction again. So I am Tammy McBride, Career Connected Learning Specialist for the North Central ESD. The ESD provides a wide array of programs, services, and support to the 29 school districts in our region, including the work I do connecting students to businesses in the North Central Washington. We've partnered with the NCW Tech Alliance to host a 3-part event within the STEM Summit to highlight the world of artificial intelligence. So here today with us is Jenny Rosenatatian, the Executive Director for the NCW Tech Alliance. Jenny?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. NCW Tech Alliance is passionate about supporting technology, entrepreneurship, and STEM education. And we're so excited to have brought our education community and business community today during the AI Expo. AI is impacting all of us in our everyday lives, as well as really innovating in business and changing the job landscape across our world and across our rural communities. And we're really passionate about ensuring that as technology changes, that we stay ahead of the curve and competitive here in North Central Washington. So Tammy, if you want to hit that next slide. Just very briefly, after this panel, we have one more. So you're going to want to come back at 10 a.m. after you listen to this great conversation moderated by Will Little. And I'm going to dive, since we are running a little behind, straight back to have Tammy introduce Will and officially get us going.
So a final piece of housekeeping before we introduce the not the keynote, our panel and our moderator. If you are an educator attending the entire STEM Summit, you can access the panel discussions this morning, like we said, using the Sched platform, as you have been doing with all of the other sessions this week. If you are a community member and you registered to the AI Expo through the NCW Tech Alliance, please be sure to go back to the webpage to join the next session after this one ends at 10 a.m. So all sessions will be recorded if you miss one of them, so you can view later. All right, so let's get the discussion going. they will each have the opportunity to introduce themselves in a minute. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Will Little, who is moderating our whole entire conversation today. Will is a bioengineer turned software developer and technology entrepreneur and investor. He is one of the managing directors of Prota Ventures and operator investor group that invests holistically in early stage entrepreneurs for to promote human flourishing. Did I get that correct, Will?
You got it.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm gonna pass that off to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone, and greetings from the southern hills of Shaston, Washington. I grew up on the other side of the mountains over in the Bremerton, Silverdale area, and now live here, and I'm absolutely fallen in love with the community in North Central Washington, the geography here. And so thank you, Tammy and Jenny, for having me moderate this conversation. I started my career in bioengineering, started in a BioE lab at University of Washington. My research advisor got recruited by the Swiss Technical Institute, finished my doctorate over in Zurich, had to use a lot of AI, early AI, in my research. But and in fact, as part of that research, I had to learn how to code. Learning how to code made me realize there is this amazing marketplace on the internet, and if you can build some web applications to deliver value for humanity, there's potentially a way to make money doing that. So I went from bioengineer to technology entrepreneur, built a few tech companies, and then transitioned to start investing mainly in the Seattle startup community. Moved to Chicago in 2014, enjoyed investing in the Chicago startup community. But during that season, I really was able to kind of think from first principles, what do entrepreneurs really need? And especially at the idea stage, I love investing right at the earliest idea stage. And my group invests in entrepreneurs all around the world. So we enjoy the idea stage with all different types of entrepreneurs, not just technology entrepreneurs, but there are lots of different types of business. So for this conversation, one of our portfolio companies, in fact, we invested in a group out of Slovenia, and they have an AI-powered bird feeder. So they have a bird feeder that will take pictures of birds visiting you in your backyard, and they'll use machine learning and computer vision to identify the birds, so you can identify the birds that are visiting you in your backyard. You can collect them, you can share with your friends, et cetera, et cetera. And they're using the data for conservationists to be able to share the data all around with scientists all around the world to be able to better conserve and care for our feathered friends. So that company is called Bird Buddy. You can search for it. Happy to give them a shout out. And so I've been asked to do actually a little conversation about what is AI. I am so impressed by Dr. Talagala. That conversation before this, I would highly recommend. If you missed it, it was recorded. Please go watch it. I am inspired by her and the work that she is doing to educate K through 12 children about AI, the importance of AI. In fact, one of my favorite quotes is "program or be programmed." So it's almost like learn AI or be AI'd. So a way to get ahead of the AI revolution is to learn about it, learn how to speak the language of AI. And so this is such an amazing conference and series of conversations to that end. So in short, AI is computers and technology doing things that we consider intelligent. And we as humans, the definition of intelligence is a long conversation that I will leave to the philosophers. But the earliest forms of AI were very simple solutions, like a thermostat. I mean, you could say a thermostat is an intelligent. It monitors temperature, and it'll turn something on or off depending on the level of that temperature. And in fact, the definition of AI has been constantly evolving. Even things like optical character recognition isn't necessarily AI anymore. The more cutting edge neural networks and machine learning and all the things that Alexa and Siri and Google and self-driving cars can do, those are now things called AI, but it's a kind of a constantly evolving definition. So I will just leave it that brief. I would encourage you again to watch Dr. Talagala's session from earlier today. And I'm happy to introduce our guests, Dr. Nayak and Amanda Vargas. I will go ahead and hand the mic to you, Amanda, to start, and welcome.
Hi, thanks. Good morning, everybody. I am Amanda Vargas, and I have worked for Stemilt growers for about 14 years in many different capacities. Over the last few years, I've been part of numerous special projects that include AI. Although when we were talking about this, when we got offered this opportunity, we thought, do we really use AI? And as we looked up the definition and said, absolutely, in many, many different capacities. So it's been really, this is a great opportunity to be here. And so the projects that we've done that include AI are all across the supply chain, and we really try to focus on efficiency and innovation in those projects.
Cool, welcome. And Dr. Nayak?
Hi, everybody. I'm Gautam Nayak. I am a cardiologist here in North Central Washington and have been here for the last 12 years. And like Will, have totally fallen in love with the region. Appreciate everybody being here. As a father of 3 kids, just so impressed with the content so far, and really appreciate that our educators are interested in this topic. I was in the Navy for 10 years before I came out here, and through the course of some deployments, got interested in kind of that nexus of healthcare and technology. And then once I got here to North Central Washington, realized there were a lot of challenges that perhaps we could solve with technology. And so that's how I kind of got into understanding. And like Will said, if you don't understand it, it does put you behind, especially in healthcare. So super excited to be in a very progressive organization like Confluence Health, and in an area that really fosters innovation. And so I have had a chance to do a lot of different projects here. So really appreciate being asked to be on this panel and learn from the fellow panelists and from everybody.
Welcome. So I'd love to just start by how do you think about AI, and how is AI applied in your field of work? Like how are you engaging with it? That's sort of a multi-part question, but I'll leave it open-ended like that. Amanda, would you like to go first?
Sure. AI to me in our business is largely via automation. So personally, I use AI for running, simulations, trying to see if I make this change in this program, what will that do physically for us? I use it in reporting and analytics, and it's all across our production, from the orchard to the packing and to the distribution center. At Stemilt, we use AI in very different ways. Although, again, we haven't really called it that, but it completely is that. We have soil monitoring systems in the orchards. I'm not the expert in that area, so please don't ask specifics there. But we have quality and size analysis upon receipt of fruit in the warehouse, so we can take a picture of the fruit and kind of get an idea of what we're getting on a larger scale. Whereas, we used to have people that would look through and individually look at the apples and document what's coming in. We have optical sorters on the packing lines that take pictures of the fruit and decide the quality and the destination, where would it best be fitted. We have robotics that sort our cases once they're packed in our segregating area. And then we have an automatic storage and retrieval system in our fresh cube distribution center. And there are a few people here that have started dabbling in things like machine learning and have done work in other types of simulations and different capacities. It really is all over, very diverse at Stemilt.
Very cool. Wow, that's a lot. I have a lot of questions on that, which we'll dive into. But how about you, Dr. Nayak?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. For, in medicine, I think it kind of revolves around using the technology to predict a diagnosis, taking large amounts of data from our electronic health record and other sources to predict a diagnosis, or to help us figure out the disease state or a new disease state, or really kind of help us prescribe treatment. I use AI kind of on a daily basis as a cardiologist because I'm dealing with a lot of imaging, something as basic as what's called an electrocardiogram, where I take the electrical signal of somebody's heart to try to understand what's going on. 95% of these kind of fall into a very specific category. And when you're getting hundreds of these daily, trying to parse through who needs, something urgent and who's normal, can be a little bit daunting. And so we use AI every day to help us kind of parse through that a little bit. Or, if we're looking at somebody's heart with an ultrasound or other forms of imaging, being able to try to figure out if somebody's heart is just normal within a variance and is really important. So, we get data from thousands and thousands of other patients around the world through some software platforms. And so we can kind of gauge, what's kind of in the realm of normal or what's truly abnormal by comparing the patient's heart in front of us to thousands of people around the world that are very similar to that particular patient. And so that, we've been doing that for the better part of a decade. And I never even realized that was AI. I just kind of, thought it was smart people that were just, doing a lot of different things, which it is. But being able to do that is hugely valuable for me every day. And then, kind of the third part of this is taking data from like our electronic medical record and utilizing it to help me with my treatment. So when I say prescribe a drug, I can understand that, maybe the patient's kidney function or liver function needs to be taken into account, or other drugs that they might be taking that might interact with the one that I may want to prescribe. And so in the background, that engine is constantly running to ensure that the things that I'm doing are safe and very effective for the patient. So really every day in healthcare, we're using AI methods.
That's amazing. So one of the objectives of this panel conversation is, the K through 12 educators listening in, the industry folks that are curious about artificial intelligence and thinking about the students in their care, the students that they are teaching, the apprentices that are coming up through the businesses. What are the types of jobs that interact? So the two of you just mentioned what was probably hundreds of different fields that of workers that are interacting with and using AI. What would you say to the K through 12 educators on this call in terms of how to prepare their students for the types of jobs that are in the industries that the two of you are in? Amanda?
Well, I definitely say one would be the educators. You guys are going to be the first people to see these, incredibly innovative, just naturally innovative minds. And with AI, we really need that innovation. Innovation is what AI is all about, trying to find new, better ways to do things. So I would say really fostering that and really encouraging that. Maybe it's not the traditional way of doing something. Maybe it's not the traditional way of thinking. Maybe the student has a little bit different way of thinking, and that's okay, and that's good. AI, like you guys have already said, is everywhere. It's really everywhere. If we're talking agriculture and medical, hearts, apples and hearts, you can't compare them, right? And we're talking AI is across those. So I think just embracing technology in general, keeping an open mind, and really just fostering any kind of innovation is the best thing that I could say that would be helping to prepare the students for the future.
Yeah, I think that I really agree with that. I think what I thought was interesting this morning in Dr. Talagala's talk was that, she showed two examples, a younger student who was kind of solving a very fun problem. And then as the next example was an older student who was kind of really more on a social mission. And I think as educators, sometimes, focusing on the technology, which is going to completely change and evolve very quickly, may be less productive than just focusing on how that technology is used to, say for the betterment of humans and what that has looked like over the years. And, you're a good example of that, Will, having started as a bioengineer and probably seen that nexus of technology and health. And I think that trying to ensure that the students kind of, grow up loving the problem as opposed to the solution, and just really understanding how what they're doing affects the world. I think that's a huge challenge. I think that's something that I have yet to figure out. But in medicine, we're just inundated with all kinds of technology all the time. But in the end, the real key, the real trick is figuring out how to use that technology and when it's appropriate to really rely on it and when it's appropriate to really rely on, what the patient in front of you is saying. And I love that challenge about my job. And so I think, as technology grows and evolves, it's really impossible to keep up with all of that. But I think if the students can approach their world in a way that they know that the technology exists, and how can they use that technology to better the world? I think if we can figure out how to do that, I think that would be huge.
For sure. So in the world of supply chain, I myself am just getting kind of up to speed on agricultural supply chains and all the sort of problems and opportunities that technology can bring to that world. I don't know if Amanda, can you just tell us a little bit about what is agricultural supply chains? Like, how does food get to the grocery stores? On a day-to-day basis, kind of what are you doing in that world?
Yeah, so Stemilt is kind of, I won't say it's unique because there are many others like us, but Stemilt's pretty incredible because Stemilt has everything from literally growing the trees and growing the fruit all the way out to the person eating the apple, for example. So as you know, it's cherry season right now. We're starting to pick the new crop apples and pears, so that's pretty exciting. We'll start receiving those in, and I think that many people would be really surprised on how complicated the system really is as far as getting the fruit from the tree to the customer. It's incredible. It's very incredible how much, again, technology we use, how many different processes the fruit passes through. And as the supply chain analyst, my job really is I look for inefficiencies and try to get better. I look at what we're doing better or doing well and try to learn from that and try to apply that in other areas. I see myself kind of as this central point. So I kind of glue a lot of different departments together. So between production and sales, or the distribution center and the production, or all these different departments that are included in the supply chain. That's what's kind of cool about my role, is I'm able to communicate across all of them. So for example, as we receive the fruit, so kind of the typical Stemilt or the fruit path, if you will, the fruit comes in after it gets picked in the orchard, and we receive it and store it. Once it's time, we run it across our packing lines. And again, our packing lines are pretty top of the line as far as technology goes. We have a lot of things that are automated. Like I mentioned, the optical sorters, so that we have cameras that take pictures of many different angles of the fruit, and then the fruit is destined to the box, or the computer decides which pack it should go into, which box it should go into. Our packers, or sometimes the machine, puts it in a box, and it kind of flows down to our distribution center, where there's more automation where the boxes get put on pallets and they get put away. The sales orders come down, shipping gathers it, and there's quality all along the entire chain from receiving to packing to shipping, quality checks all throughout with perishable product. And it's very robust.
That sounds like a lot of work. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how about in Tom's question here in the Q&A, which is a great one, in your world, in the ag world, for entry-level workers, what are you looking for? What are the skills? What level of education for those that you're hiring?
So that is a really good question. And here at Stemilt, it can be from any range. So I actually started working at Stemilt pretty straight out of high school. I was going to Wenatchee Valley College during the day and working here during the night shift. I was sorting apples was my first job. So I didn't know what I wanted to do, like many people at community college, kind of just, I'm going to do my 2-year and then we'll see what I do from there. And when I started going from different jobs here, so I started as a sorter, I ended up driving a forklift, I did some lead roles in the production area, and I really saw how wide and diverse the ag world is. And there was so much to learn. So you can be like me, and I literally started with no education and went on to get more later. Or you can come in, we've had people with PhDs that work here. So it depends on what area you're trying to work in. Stemilt is really cool, and I'm not sure if it's a unique to Stemilt or if it's the industry, but even in IT, very open to people, coming in and learning on the job and getting experience as you go, or hiring experience. It's very, there's not a really good answer to that, I guess, just it's all along.
Yeah, that's cool. How about analogous questions in your world? What comments do you have about both how do people get entry-level jobs in healthcare, health tech, and also just kind of the types of work that you're doing in a day in and day out basis?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think from if somebody is interested in joining the healthcare workforce, it almost feels like these days the tech is kind of integrated into their jobs. And I find that my my younger colleagues, or the people that are much younger than me, are so much more facile at using the technology, doing the things that kind of come up on a day-to-day basis, just because they're just more ingrained with their phone or their their tablet, and there's so much of that being integrated right now. If you're looking at specifically, what are the types of skills that a healthcare worker would really benefit from, my sense is that healthcare in general seems to be a little bit slower to adopt like the hardcore technology that you see on the business side or the ag side. And so, and a lot of that is because it's just dollars are being spent on direct patient care resources and less so on the tech side of things. So, young people coming into medical fields, I think as they start to do things in school that are related to computer programming, that are related to understanding things like AI and how that relates to disease, have a huge advantage, because so much of what we do, it is encompassed by that. And the physicians that do the best, the technologists, the nurses, everybody that does the best has a really strong technical sense. They can pick up the computer skills very quickly. They know how to maybe think about solutions using the technology around them. And so having a broad-based skill set, computer programming, kind of like what you did, if you jump into that, I think it opens up a lot of doors. And maybe the biggest thing to think about in terms of healthcare is the opportunity. I think the opportunity to innovate on the technological side is huge. And I think that's going to be there from now on, just given how our world is changing.
Yeah, agreed. So I'd love to hear some success stories. How has AI in your worlds brought about a sort of a business success or something successful in your world? Amanda, do you have an example?
Yeah, so I think that the easiest one for me to talk about, and the one that's probably one of the more recent, is our most recent, our distribution center. So years ago, our forklift drivers, and we've kind of baby stepped it, so we didn't go from what I'm about to explain to today. But years ago, our forklift drivers would drive around with pallets on their forklifts, trying to remember, off the production line, where do I put this? Where did I put the last one like this, the last one with the same item number, the same SKU? And to ship it out, we would hand somebody a piece of paper and say, can you go get this fruit and put it on this truck? And today, we heavily rely on the machines, and we've programmed the logic into what we want it to do. So today the machines decide where to best store the product, and they also decide which product will make the most sense when it's time to ship it out. So for example, some apples do better at colder temperatures, and some of them do better at slightly warmer temperatures. So instead of a person having to remember that and having to know, okay, which area of the building is warmer, which one is colder, we've told the system that, this area is the colder side, this is the warmer side. These apples should go in this area, and the computer just puts it away. It just flows seamlessly. So it really optimizes the quality, and it also, it streamlines the storage and the retrieval of the automated storage with the automated storage and retrieval system. So with that, now instead of the shipping people, the shipping clerks, printing out a piece of paper and finding a forklift driver and handing it to them, they literally push a button and say, I need this fruit, and it triggers the movement. So the pallets will start coming down. The next kind of level that makes things even better is if for whatever reason, the first choice pallet isn't available, let's say that there's a mechanical breakdown, the first choice pallet isn't available, then the system will say, okay, well then this is the second choice, this is the second best, and it'll bring that one down. So it's truly amazing to see how things have evolved in the last, with the DC, it's been live for about 3 years. So it's been really amazing to see, how far things have come.
That's awesome. So I guess the next two questions are for you, Dr. Nayak. The first one, I guess, would be the success stories in your world, and then Sue's amazing question here in the chat. But first, like success stories in cardiology and medicine, where have you seen technology really help you out?
Yeah,
or AI specifically.
Yeah, I think, there's so many examples here, but, one that's local to us is kind of related to imaging. So AI in medicine is really great for taking large swaths of data and just trying to help us predict and diagnose, and imaging. So taking pictures of, some body structure at an in-depth level is really where it excels right now. And here in Wenatchee, we had this issue a few years ago where patients with diabetes were having some difficulty getting in to have their eyes checked. Diabetes affects the eyes very early, and you can start to see early signs of it. And so it's really important that diabetics get regular eye exams. Well, being in a rural healthcare system, we started to have a backlog of patients being able to get in and get their regular diabetes eye exam with an optometrist, or in more advanced cases with an ophthalmologist. And so some of our innovative primary care physicians came up with a kind of an out-of-the-box solution where they set up essentially a kiosk in their primary care office with 3 or 4 stations. And basically the patients could get automated eye exams. The images went to a central place, and an optometrist or an ophthalmologist could, in a different location, could look at the images and basically, give a diagnosis. And it was kind of all being done in real time. So they went from having this months-long backlog of patients trying to get in to like almost immediately being able to catch up and make sure that, you know, the patients that really needed to get in with the optometrist or ophthalmologist got in so that they could have their eyes further assessed. And those that were doing okay could, you know, kind of continue on their path with the diabetes and continue to keep that under good control. And so I thought that was a really interesting success story. Now that raised a whole bunch of other issues in terms of, you know, reimbursements and compensation. And that's a huge issue in general in medicine. But if you just look at it from putting the patient first and making sure we were doing the right thing for the patient, I thought that was a huge win by the organization. And I thought it was kind of a nice way for doctors to ensure that, you know, patients got the right care.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and so Sue's question in the chat here is a really, really good one. I'm curious thoughts from both of you. How do we help nurture, empower, support our children that have ideas that they could potentially bring to market? I know, Dr. Nayak, that you're an entrepreneur yourself and you have lots of ideas and ways that you're trying to help support the market and the communities that you're in. What advice do you have for the teachers to help support and nurture those ideas?
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing question. And I will, you know, be honest, you know, a lot of my enthusiasm for innovation has come from, you know, my kids, especially my daughter who, you know, has all kinds of ideas. And, you know, we've always been so impressed by this community. I think we're in a very unique place where, you know, innovation is just kind of very prevalent. You know, I think Amanda's examples are, you know, perfect for that. And so I think as a professional living here in rural Washington, you know, maybe engaging other people from, you know, other doctors that I work with down to the medical assistants that I work with, and trying to see how we can, you know, continue to foster some of that innovation on the healthcare side. I can tell you that the best ideas I've had, you know, outside of the day-to-day clinical work, but just for innovating in our system, have come from the youngest folks that I've worked with, the medical assistants typically, who, you know, just see everything around them from the patient level all the way up to my level. And so I think that the approach has to be that kids here probably have some of the best ideas. And if we can figure out a way to, you know, maybe get them involved on the industry side, and maybe get them to see, you know, some of the natural progression of where technology is being used, and get that creativity going. You know, I think the young girl that the 13-year-old that had the breast cancer screening, I mean, I thought that was just very inspirational in Dr. Talagala's talk. And I think that is the sort of innovation that, you know, as a healthcare worker, that I would love to see more kids get involved with. So maybe a simple answer is to get more awareness in our community with all of the folks that are doing innovative things, and maybe, you know, partnering them up with some of the kids that have these great ideas.
Yeah, Amanda, anything you'd add to that?
I love that answer, Dr. Nayak. I absolutely love it. When I read the how to incubate the innovative ideas, just to kind of add on to that, I would say ask questions, just ask lots of questions and get their feedback. I think I've been sitting in a room lots of times with people that I think are way out of my league, right? I've got data scientists and executive leadership, and I'm thinking, what am I doing here? And sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, but I ask the right questions that trigger the ideas. Or I'll have an idea and I don't know how to do it, but the people in the room do. And so those are the kind of things that can really trigger that innovation and different ideas and nurture that, is just asking the questions and really listening to the kids. I love the idea about finding out different areas in the community, how they could, I would be more than willing to partner up with a kid that was showing some, you know, interest or talent, and try to, you know, help mentor. And I think that there's lots of people in our community that would do that. And so I think you hit that one right on the head.
So Nathaniel's question in the Q&A here is a good one with regard to patient data. right? I mean, machine learning, artificial intelligence with regard to large pools of data or even personal data like our healthcare data. Yeah, I'm curious, Dr. Nayak, is there areas of your world that you feel like that machine learning could be better applied to help in the work that you do?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question from Nathaniel. I think the, what we're seeing now with the advent of the wearables and, your Fitbit and some of these other devices is almost, just a perfect transition for somebody like me. In a way, it almost becomes data deluge where you just get so much data from patients, but I'm getting a ton of information from them at home, whether it's their, exercise level, their diet, their weight, things like that. And that really, blood pressure, that really allows me to monitor them in real time and really kind of change maybe the natural trajectory of what's happening, because if I just rely on what's happening in the clinic when I see them once or twice a year, it can sometimes be misleading one way or the other. And so having that data at home, often through wearables or very smart devices that can monitor their blood pressure and things, that's been huge for me. And I'm excited to see where that goes, because I think the data is pretty strong that that's a very good predictor, better than an office visit blood pressure, say. So yeah, that's an exciting area and good question.
Yeah, and Amanda, maybe I'd ask a tangential question in your world. Like, what problems do you see still in the ag supply chain that you feel like machine learning, artificial intelligence can help?
I think that the labor shortage that's happening all over the US could be definitely positively impacted by the use of AI. The other thing that comes to mind, and it's not so much a problem per se, but just to improve, is I'm looking forward to seeing where AI takes the orchard work. I know that there's lots of development, lots of things going on out there, and I'm not very familiar with that, but the traditional farmer isn't necessarily known to be super techie. And so I'm really looking forward to see how those two worlds marry and what that brings to us.
Tammy, how are we doing on time? Are we still have 10 minutes or so?
Yeah, I would say start kind of maybe wrapping up final thoughts and questions. I think we just have one more slide that we want to show to everyone before we completely end. So
cool. Yeah, I mean, I'd say for if we think about our children, I have a 10-year-old, 13-year-old, 15-year-old. They are being inundated with AI, predictive AI, advertising, social media. The question in the previous session about like how do they know? How do they, I talk about a thing and then I get an advertisement for the thing that I was just talking about. I know Amazon with AI predicts what you're going to buy based on your behavior and will literally move things around their supply chain to move a thing they think you're going to buy into the local distribution so that it can ship to you faster. Right? A lot of these technology companies are using AI in extremely powerful ways. But I guess one of the final questions for the two of you is, how do we think about equipping our children with the proper education to navigate the bombardment of AI that they are going to be facing as they grow up?
Well, I'm also a mom of three. My kids are slightly younger, 3, 5, and 11. So my 11-year-old is the one that I think probably really is feeling it today. And it's something that I battle with. It really is. I think that Dr. Talegela's, I hadn't really thought about it in the segment, but when she was talking about teaching AI so that they learn the safety around it, I think that's integral, like just letting them know how widely this can be used, where it can be used, how, and I think as a parent personally, I try to limit some of it and try to get, we have our, hey, we're going outside now, everything's off, or we're going camping, sorry, there's no service, right? So we do try to do that to try to get a fresh, restart, if you will. But I think that really educating and pressing the safety matter of it is probably where I'm going to try to focus the next few years at least on with my kids.
Yeah, I think that's phenomenal. I think I echo that 100%. And again, as a father of 3 as well, one of the things that I've been kind of humbled by is that, we have all this technology, but, as a physician, oftentimes the key is just sitting in front of a patient and listening to them and just understanding what's going on. And so the thing that I try to stress to my kids and young folks is that, use the technology to make you a better person, to make those to allow you to have those social interactions. It's super easy for me as a physician to just throw on the computer and start typing as I'm in the room with a patient. But what I'm trying to do is just trying to make myself better by saying, okay, the technology is there, it's going to make me better. But when I have that, patient in front of me, I'm going to be 100% focused there. So use that technology to free you up to do the social things that are important in human interactions. And so again, just trying to find that bridge is a huge challenge. But I think, Amanda, you're exactly right. It's like turning off the devices for a little while and having those connections and understanding how much you can learn and gain from those important interactions is huge. And then you can, when you need it, you'll have the technology available. So, medicine, I'm learning the older I get, the more humbled I get by, just how much you can get outside of the computer or reading a journal article just by listening to patients. And so I think, leveraging that technology to allow you to be a better person is huge.
Yeah, I kind of come back to the sentiment of the program or be programmed, right? The AI or be AI'd. So I think if our children can learn about AI, learn about all the ways that technology is influencing them, learn about how the TikTok algorithm is able to surface all those little videos that they incessantly watch, and YouTube and all these, the social media, that I think will enable them to at least some degree. I mean, I think we all have difficulties because these AIs hack our brains and get us addicted to their products. But at least we can do our best to keep up with the education so that we can do our best to control the machines so they don't control us. So I think this is a good conversation. I would just really appreciate the two of you being able to share insights and wisdom from the markets that you're in, and happy to hand it back to you, Tammy, and close us out.
I'm gonna screen share one last time. Yeah, that was such a great conversation. Thank you all so much for your time this morning. I want to ask everyone on the Zoom to help us thank our speakers with the virtual round of applause. You can do whatever you want, but thank you guys so much. So we are heading into our final hour of AI Expo. So please be sure to head back to Sched or the landing page to join us in our last session. Thank you all so much. This was a great conversation. And I can't thank you enough. So thanks everyone. And I'll give you back a few minutes of your time before our next session. Thanks again.